I have been waiting for this day for a long time. The day I became a teenager to freely experience things that I had never tried before. But even though I'm 18 years old and can make my own decisions, my family always prohibits me from doing the things I like. Hello, I'm Jessie. Before continuing the story, please give us a like and a subscribe so you don't miss any of our content in the future. Why can't my family understand me? Learning piano is really boring. Instead, enjoying the atmosphere at bars and pubs is much more fun. But one fateful day. The day went like any other day. I attended the last piano class that evening and planned to go home to rest. But I received an invitation from a friend to attend a party, and she said that there were a lot of cool guys there, so I immediately accepted. Because my dad definitely wouldn't let me go to the party. So as soon as my family fell asleep, I quickly snuck out of the house without revealing any loopholes, because my friend's house was quite a distance away. So I had no choice but to ride my bike to get to the party. While crossing the main road, I didn't pay attention when the streetlight turned red. I ran quickly across the street without knowing that a truck was right next to me, and after that, it crashed into me. Without realizing it at that moment, my mind went blank and the sky turned dark. I suddenly woke up and discovered I was lying on a grassland in the park. I jumped up in fear and looked around for my phone. Fortunately, my phone was still there and there was no problem. I immediately picked up the phone and called my parents, but my phone couldn't receive a signal, so I couldn't contact anyone. Oh God, my parents will kill me. Everyone must be very worried. I have to quickly find a way to contact my parents. Strangely, the eyes of people passing by looked at me with a very strange attitude. They kept looking at my phone as if it was the first time they saw it. I ignored those eyes and went to find the nearest public phone booth. On the way to find it, I accidentally bumped into a guy in the middle of the street. And when I looked up, I realized, what is love at first sight?
Are you okay? I'm really sorry for bumping into you. Here, let me help you.
Oh my God, he's so handsome. I feel like I just found the love of my life. And no, I'm fine. It's my fault. My name is Jessie. Do you know if there is a public phone nearby?
Hi, I'm Jin. Why are you looking for a phone booth? I heard the nearest one was demolished a few days ago.
Oh, I'm sorry. I want to contact my family, but there's no signal here, so I can't use my smartphone to call them.
Smartphone? What is smartphone?
Suddenly, an advertisement flew down to my feet. I accidentally read the content that this advertisement was released in 2004. Suddenly, I had a bad feeling running down my spine. I asked Jin what year it was, and he told me it was 2004, so I was really shocked. It turns out that I was transported back to the past after the accident. I took out my phone and looked at the screen to check again to confirm the time, but the phone screen showed the year 2024. Even though I was confused, I still had to try to stay calm because there was no way I humiliated myself in front of a handsome guy like Jin. Glancing up at Jin's face, I suddenly saw an expression of interest from the phone I was holding in my hand. Yeah, that's right. In 2004, there were no smartphones. I hastily explained to him that it was just a personal item and immediately put my phone back inside. But it seemed like just explaining that didn't satisfy Jin. He said he had never seen anything like that before. So I just forced a smile to get it over with. Jin was about to leave, and although I felt a little regretful and wanted to stay a little longer to talk, I still had to figure out how I could return to the future. At that time, it was starting to get dark. My stomach was hungry. And fortunately, the cash I brought with me was still there. But when I used the money to give to the cashier at the fast food restaurant, they refused and harshly kicked me out. Then I realized my money was different from the money in the past, so I couldn't pay. Too hungry and with nowhere to stay, I helplessly went into a small alley to find a place to rest for the night. As soon as I entered the alley, I suddenly felt scared, turned around to look, and from behind, a hoodlum rushed out from the darkness and pressed me against the wall. Because I was too tired and had no strength left, so I couldn't fight back. At the moment the scoundrel was about to do bad things, a guy with a familiar figure appeared. He knocked the scoundrel far away, then held my hand and ran away, out into the alley. And that was none other than Jin. Jin, is that you? Why are you here?
Oh God. I should be the one asking that question. What are you doing in that dangerous place? If I don't intervene in time, you'll be in big trouble.
I'm sorry, okay. It's just that now I have nowhere else to go.
Okay. I don't know what's going on, but if that's the case, you can stay at my house for a few days anyway. I still have a spare room. You can stay there temporarily. We'll figure out where to stay in a few days.
Wow, I was completely crushed on Jin's. Or in other words, I love him already. Jin is truly a wonderful person. He is so kind and handsome that I can't take my eyes off him. After walking and telling stories, I knew that at that time, Jin was on his way to buy groceries and accidentally saw me going into that dangerous alley, so he followed. Phew, what a blessing. After returning to Jin's house, he started preparing the food that he said was his favorite dish. Strangely enough, that dish is a dish that my father often cooks for the whole family, but because I was so hungry, I didn't think much and just enjoyed the meal. I discovered that Jin has a very special interest in music, especially the piano. He is very diligent in practicing, and Jin's skills are quite good. Having inherited my father's superior skills, I started playing the songs my father taught me when I was little for Jin, and it made Jin's jaw drop. Jin also asked me to teach him piano and promised to pay the fee, so I happily accepted. I feel like my love for Jin is growing more and more, but my fear is also growing. What if Jin knew I was from the future? Will he accept me? I immediately dismissed the thoughts in my head and let myself enjoy the current atmosphere. But one morning, when passing by Jin's room, I accidentally saw a very familiar name tag with the full name of my dad. I was startled by what I just saw. I was so scared and called him out to ask, only to discover that Jin was my father in the future. Too shocked by this heartbreaking truth, I couldn't stand it and pushed Jin away and ran to the door. But just as I opened the door, a young girl was standing in front of the door, looking at me with a strange look. The girl looked at me and Jin, the school bag in her hand, fell, and tears began to flow. The girl slapped Jin's face hard and ran away. I stood there, stunned, not understanding what had just happened. Jin worriedly chased after the girl, but was pushed away by that girl the same way I pushed Jin just now. Turns out that girl was none other than my mother, Tina. There's nothing more to say. I fell in love with my father, and now I'm making the relationship between mom and dad even worse. But the most serious thing is that if my dad and mom had not gotten married, I would not have been born. Will I disappear? It's so scary. Seeing my father standing there like a lost soul, I thought I had to do something to restore the relationship between the two. So the plan began. I ran to my dad and told him that repairing his relationship was very important, and that giving up right now was very weak. It was all just misunderstood, and we just needed to explain to her and everything would be fine. I know my dad's personality. When he is motivated, he will do his best until he can do it. And right after I explained, Dad immediately went to see Mom and explained everything to her. In the end, everything went smoothly. My mom apologized to me for the misunderstanding, and the three of us were very happy. But I know I shouldn't stay here long. What if they knew I was from the future? And most of all, my heart was broken because I knew should not I loved my dad. So I needed to say goodbye to them and prepare my things to leave. Well, there's something I want to tell you guys, all the audience. If you could go back to the past and meet your own family, what would you do that made the most sense? Of course, tell them to invest in stocks to make a profit in the future. Before leaving, I told my father Jin to invest in stocks of big companies in the future. So I'm a millionaire now. Crossing the main road, I sadly thought all about the things I had gone through recently that had made me tired like this. I think after this, I will be heartbroken for a long time. Love is not suitable for people like me. It's also fortunate that I didn't confess my love to my dad. I wonder how much worse it would have been if I had lied and accidentally told my true feelings. Wow, it hurts. I also want to have a beautiful love. I didn't expect my dad to be so cool when he was young. Yet later he became a grumpy father, but I think it's all just for my own good. Well, if I could go back to my family, I would definitely thank them for always taking care of me. But wait, if I can't go back, how can I enjoy a rich future? Jesse, you have to calm down. Is it okay to start a business in this era, right? Oh no, but I don't know where to start. How about trying to create a smartphone? I will be very rich. Because I was so lost in thought when I crossed the main road, I didn't pay attention and dropped my phone to the ground. As soon as I picked up the phone, right behind me was a large truck, and once again, I was hit by the truck. It was really déjà vu. I woke up in a dreamy state in my room. When I opened my eyes, I saw my mom and dad sitting next to me with worried faces.
Oh God, you're okay. Your mom and I thought you would not wake up anymore. Come here, Jesse. Mom and Dad won't force you to study too hard anymore. We will let you just continue with your passion.
And as soon as I woke up, they immediately hugged me deeply, and that was the first time. My parents hugged me so tightly. My dad told me that I had just woken up from a long coma after returning from piano lessons, and they were very worried because I didn't wake up. Besides, my dad also told me the story that when he was young, he met a strange girl who advised him to invest in stocks of big companies, and the shares he bought have now made the whole family rich. He even winked at me, which made me burst out laughing. My mother glared at my father fiercely for bringing up that incident. And my father then only smiled wryly at her. It turns out that to this day, my mother still remembers what happened. Wow, women are indeed the gods of memory. After all, I have also realized that I should always cherish precious moments with my family and loved ones.